Manchester United draw 1-1 with Arsenal in the Premier League. A decent performance by United, it has to be said, especially in the second half. We've got 5 talking points to get into, guys, and they're going to range from positive to negative, and I want to know your thoughts, so get them into the comment section below. Let's jump straight into it. Number 1, defence. I've been saying this over the last few games, and I think, with a negative season, it's hard to find positives, but I think the defence, even though we haven't been winning games and we've been losing games, I still believe the defensive side of our game has been one of the bright sides of our season, if you could say that. Now, there has been moments, of course, where it's been negative, but over the last few games, and especially in the game against Arsenal yesterday, I thought our defence was very, very solid and very, very sound, and Ruben Amorim seems to be getting a tune out of the defence and really, solidifying everything together back there. It is giving us a platform to go on and try and win games, and we'll get on to the issues at the other end of the pitch. But I think first and foremost, defensively, I think we've been quite solid. Now, you can take maybe Andre Onana out of that at moments throughout the season, especially in Ruben Amorim's reign. But I think when you're talking about Maguire so far this season, has been really, really good, especially in the back three since Ruben Amorim came in. De Ligt has been absolutely colossal so far this season, and it seems to be getting better as the weeks go on. We see Mazraoui dropping back into the back three and looking very composed and very comfortable and looking really good at carrying the ball out into midfield as well. And of course there's Leny Yoro. Leny Yoro has just been a breath of fresh air since he's come back from injury. And I mentioned the age gap between him and Chido Obi is less than 2 years. And I know 2 years sounds like an awful lot at that age. But when we see Chido Obi play at 17, Leny Yoro has just turned 19. And Leny Yoro he looks smooth, he looks composed, he looks relaxed. Whereas Chido looks very raw, very young, very, rough around the edges. And I think that's credit to where Leny Yoro is in his development at such an early stage. He's been so good for such a young player to slot into that back three, to not look out of place. I think it's been absolutely fantastic. Look, there are issues around the wing backs. Of course there is. Of course, Dalot. But I think Dorgu coming in and playing so well in his opening few games, red card aside, has been a big positive as well. So I think defensively, I think we've been really, really good the last few games. And throughout the majority of the season, it has to be said. And I think Ruben Amorim is forming maybe the base and the structure for us to go on and win games. We just need to start doing it at the other end of the field. But positives defensively. Number 2, Casemiro. I thought Casemiro was really good yesterday. I really do. I thought he played well. I thought he didn't look out of place. He covered ground quite well. And I think positionally, I thought the big reason for that was Bruno Fernandes stuck to his role a little bit more. And I think if we look into this in depth, I think the big reason for that was the fact that Christian Eriksen and Garnacho both played. I thought we had a little bit of balance in midfield. And a lot of people were saying that midfield is going to get run through. And I thought, no, I don't think so. I think getting our foot on the ball, we could have done it a lot more. But I think that was more from the defensive side where we were clearing our lines more so than trying to play out. And that was turning over possession to Arsenal. But I think when we did get our foot on the ball, we looked quite composed in midfield. We looked like we knew what we were doing. And I think the defensive side of the game as well, I thought was very good. I thought Casemiro's positional sense was very good. He made his tackles well. He wasn't found out of position an awful lot. He was allowing the likes of Bruno and Eriksen just to sit in front of him. And he was just sitting there in the 6 and he didn't look out of place. He didn't look leggy, which is something we've seen out of him. We're going to have maybe more of them kind of performances from Casemiro between now and the end of the season. He won't be the first choice starter. We know that. As soon as Ugarte comes back from injury, Casemiro probably will find himself on the bench again. And the chances of him moving on in the summer are quite high. But I love Casemiro. I've got to say, I love his intensity. I love his professionalism. I love how he plays the game. And there's a reason why he was at the top for so long. He is on the opposite side of that now, and it's quite understandable. And I don't think we should be paying him the kind of money that we are. But that doesn't get away from the fact that as a footballer, I love him. And I want to see more of them kind of performances between now and the end of the season. Number 3, Garnacho on the right. 2 games in a row now we've seen Garnacho on the right, and we've seen it at flickers throughout his Manchester United career when he does play on that right hand side more than the left. I think it suits him an awful lot more. I really, really do. I think he was the main threat for United. He was the only real threat in the first half, it has to be said. Getting up that right-hand side. He had Arsenal's left back, he'd be having nightmares about him tonight. He was really, really good, constantly running at defences. And look, we know the issues with Garnacho is he's not the finished article. He doesn't have the finishing in his game yet where he's going to be a 20-goal-a-season player. But what he gives you in terms of a threat going forward is really good. And we've said an awful lot now that he's got to get his decision making right. And we've seen it against Sociedad midweek. The cutback for Xerxes was really, really good. And the areas at which he's running into against Arsenal yesterday I thought was very good. Winning that free kick before half time was very good. He could have easily gone on the outside, but he saw the gap and he went for it. And only for him, we wouldn't have been 1-0 up at half time. So I thought it was really good. And in the second half as well, he looked really, really dangerous. I think his game looks a lot more, rounded out, if that makes sense, when he plays on the right. When he plays on the left, all he really has is a cut in on his right foot and a shot. Whereas on the left, he can go down the line, he can get crosses in, he can still come inside and look to get a shot off. He hasn't got a bad left foot. I think the right suits him. And I think we'll probably see more of him play. I think we'll see more of him playing in that position between now and the end of the season. And especially if he keeps putting in performances like that. He is missing goals from his game. But he's got a big few months between now and the end of the season because there's talks of him being moved on in the summer if a 60 million bid comes in. And I think if he continues to put in performances like he did against Arsenal yesterday, I don't think United will be getting rid of him at all. So more of that, please. Number 4, chances. Again, this is the story of Manchester United's season, just spurning chances time after time after time. And look, I do have to say as well, if it wasn't for David Raya in the goal, Man United would have won that game comfortably. Some world-class saves from him. The double save from Bruno Fernandes, where he claws the ball out of the goal, was absolutely unbelievable. But the save from Mazraoui, just to get a leg out there, was absolutely unbelievable. But again, we can't make any excuses here. Man United are not putting their chances away. Rasmus Højlund had a couple of chances when he came on, should have scored, and we know the issues and the troubles that he's going through. The one thing I would say about Højlund, for his cameo role yesterday, he was getting in the right areas to put the ball in the net. He just didn't put it in the net. Now, the second chance he had, it was a brilliant block from the Arsenal defence. We've got to start putting our chances away. But it does give me some hope for the future because Ruben Amorim is setting us up in ways, and for anybody that's saying Ruben Amorim is out of his depth is an absolute idiot, in my opinion. Ruben Amorim is setting us up in ways for us to go on and win games. Defensively, we look very solid an awful lot of the time. We are creating chances. We're just not putting them away. And, Ruben Amorim coming out onto the pitch and trying to score himself, other than that, he can't do anything else. So if we get an established goal scorer in the summer, which we have to do, whether that be Victor Osimhen, Gyökeres, Delap, whoever the case, Mbeumo, whatever the case may be, we've got to get somebody to put the ball in the net because the chances are being created, and that gives me a lot of positives going into next season if we can get a transfer window right. And number 5, progress under Amorim. And this just goes back to what we've mentioned a little bit in the last point. Ruben Amorim and his tactics are working, in my opinion. And all of the opposition fans that watch this will laugh. Look where you are in the league. But look at the game and look at moments within the game and look at moments within each game. Every single game that Manchester United play has it. We've got the structure and the formation. It's so clear to see. And is it down to just not having a goal scorer? I think that's a huge part of it. I genuinely do think that's a huge part of it. Chances are being created. They really are. And I think there's a little bit of imbalance with not having a really good couple of wing-backs. I think that's a big issue there as well. And I think that will get sorted in the summer. It looks like Kenda, by all accounts, wants to come to Manchester United, and he played under Ruben Amorim before. But again, he's a young player. I think Ruben Amorim's system is working, and I think we are seeing progress week in, week out. Now, you've got to turn that into results eventually, or else the manager will lose his job. So you've got to start scoring goals eventually. And if we don't, then, I mean, we could see this struggle between now and the end of the season. 100% we could. And we could go out of Europe on Thursday night because we don't score goals. But if you just zoom out a little bit and look at what Ruben Amorim is trying to do, you can see the fabrics of it within this team now. Now, we've got to get more consistent at doing it. And I don't mean game from game. I mean minute to minute within games. But it is there, and I can see it. And I think an awful lot of fans, the ones with brains in their heads, can't see it. I genuinely believe it. We've got to start putting the ball in the net. Let me know what you think, guys. 5 talking points. Let me know your talking points. If you've got any different ones, let me know in the comment section below. I want to hear what you have to say. I do appreciate you tuning in. Please do smash a like on the video. Subscribe if you're new to the channel. And I'll see you on the next one. Thanks for watching.